Hey, this is Pamela Riemenschneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. We kind of have a little nighttime theme going here. I'm at my computer in the dark here, but you are on the road again. What's up?
Yes, I'm at the FPAA's annual convention this year, also called Swipe, because there's an expo. The expo is tomorrow. So this is the opening party. It's on the other side of this pool, so the side I'm facing, but the lighting's not very good over there. So I'm gonna look this way, and as soon as I'm done, get to the party with all my Nogales company friends.
And for us, and for a lot of the industry, the annual convention, this is the 54th edition of the FPAA convention. No surprise that that's happening this time of year. Usually a golf tournament, usually some education. I've been a presenter at those several times in my career. But this year, there'll be quite a few different things happening.
Yeah, it is a little different this year. In the past, it's kind of focused on specifically FPAA issues, a lot of border update kind of stuff, some Arizona government speakers. And this year, it's a little more broad. For instance, I'm moderating a panel tomorrow about retail and food service inflation and what some of the companies are doing to help consumers out. And on the panel is Andy Hamilton from Marcon. We got retailers from Save On Foods and Grocery Outlet. So I think it'll be a really good panel, and I'm really interested to hear what they say. And this is the time of year that we're really hearing a lot about what retailers are doing and making it known on how they're trying to help consumers' pain points when it comes to rising prices.
On that note, we've started to see the news releases about Thanksgiving, and I'm assuming the Farm Bureau one's going to come pretty soon talking about how much more expensive Thanksgiving is for consumers. But we had Aldi's already, and this week we had Target's talking about doing a $25 Thanksgiving for 4 people. And it does include fresh produce, although the fresh produce is potatoes. So there's no
It
surprise
would be
there.
nice to see a little more fresh. Yeah, they went with canned green beans, I noticed.
Yeah, I noticed that. But you know what? Sometimes those canned green beans, they really hit the spot when we're talking about green bean casserole. We also had a really interesting news release from a story from Cornell University. They did a study and they found, and this is kind of a no-brainer, but it's also something that I think we really need to think about how we're going to use this information. And they found that online grocery baskets have significantly less produce than in-store carts. And that's not a surprise because we talked about this, especially through the pandemic, is that produce is often so focused on the impulse purchase. And how do we inspire impulse purchases or make up for that in an online format? So they said that Instacart baskets had 13% fewer fresh vegetables, but up to 7% fewer impulse purchases, such as candy, baked goods, and chips. So it's not all bad news, but it's, how do we inspire impulse in the direction that we want? How do we influence it that way?
Yeah, it sounded like the survey said that. Well, it wasn't a survey; it was a study. People get in habits, and as much as we get into habits on going through stores, it's even worse when it comes online and you just click your previous order. And that's not a way to look at specials and seasonal fruit and vegetables. And the consumers have to be taught again and again that the best fruits and vegetables are in the highest quantities, and that's when they're cheapest. And it's just it's an ongoing message that we keep having to deliver as to consumers.
And there are ways, and we're still exploring these and still trying to figure out ways to manipulate the online grocery experience to steer people more toward that. I mean, I'm no stranger to online shopping, and that suggestion button there on whatever format you're using, whether it's Amazon or whatever, is very powerful. But I often don't see that grocers are taking advantage of that in a successful way, the way that we see it in other ways. But on the completely opposite end of that, Walmart just announced that they're spending billions of dollars making their stores more destination oriented. They're coming out with this new signature experience where it's trying to lure people into the store more, with enhanced features, also enhanced online pickup. But the whole thing is to get feet on the floor in the store.
Yeah, it's funny from them because they've made such progress in online.
Yeah, it is funny, but not surprising, because some of the stuff that they're talking about, more shopping carts, they're transforming the front end. They're saying increased checkouts, including staffed lanes, but we all know that that is more self-checkout lanes, which they've been doing at most of their stores. They're doing more grab and go. They're doing these activated corners, which is exciting displays featured at the corners of certain departments to pull customers in and let them touch, feel, and become part of the experience. So they're trying to increase this experiential shopping because they've figured out probably that they're going to hit a terminal velocity of online grocery growth, and they're going to have to figure out how to get people back in the stores to buy all the other things. So I think it's really interesting. They're going to spend $9 billion modernizing and upgrading more than 1,400 stores, and this is just the first 117 of that effort. And for a reminder, Walmart's got roughly 3,000 stores in the US.
Do you think this is an example of them trying to be all things to all people?
I think it is, because they're trying to get more of the higher income shoppers into their stores. And if you look at how Target has been flip-flopping and kind of floundering with a lot of its remodels, if you've been into a Target lately, if you watch the social media about Target, they are getting roasted about some of their store formats and some of the changes that they've made, and the clothing choices and the decor and everything that they've got going on in their stores. And I think Walmart's trying to sneak in there and steal a little bit more of that market share, and trying to remind people that Walmart is in some ways way more shoppable than Target has made itself. So by adding kind of fancy experiences, but probably not going to go way over and jump the shark completely.
Yeah.
I think they'll have some success with this. And you can even see where the influenced social media has been there, because there's people talking about price comparisons of, drugstore makeups, for example, and Target's always the highest one. And you're like, who sponsored this video? Who got them to do this video? There's some savvy marketing going on in there. And I think that's all part of it to wrap it up in a nice bow. But adding these features is just adding to Walmart's dominance of the in-person shopping space and enhancing their online shopping space. So I think they're going to win in online grocery for the next couple of years. No one can catch them. And to add all of the rest of this stuff, I think it makes them even stronger.
Yeah, it sounds like it, even with the investments that Kroger's making.
Yeah, even with the investments Kroger's making, I don't think Kroger can catch up when we talk about all of the other stuff that Walmart has that most grocers don't have. Target was one of the ones that did have all of that stuff, but they're lagging so far behind in grocery that they can't catch up right now.
Yeah, well, maybe they just need a merger to go through.
Yeah, maybe they do. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, I'm going to let you get back to that party. And that's it for the Produce Reporter Weekend Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.